So we're about to take Emily on one of the most iconic interview rides currently on the internet with Vanity Fair's Billie Eilish style interview, where every year she comes back and reflects on her answers of the past and reflects on where she currently is and talks about the future. So Emily, are you ready to share with us where you are now so in the future we can all come back and see how far you've come?
Yes, I am.
Amazing.
Absolutely. My name is Emily Uribe. I'm 21 and today is May 7th of 2021. I have 142.1K on TikTok alone right now.
And how many on Instagram?
10.1K.
Okay, and not verified yet.
Not at all. I don't know how that happens for creators. I always like some creators just randomly get verified and you have to submit an application to do that. I didn't know that until I saw Victoria Paris talk about it. She said, "Oh, I submitted and I appealed, but they said no."
What's your most viral video or content piece?
I have an interview video that hit 2.4 million views. It's at 866,000 likes. It was a recent interview that I did late at night. And let me look at, I think I have it. Yeah, I have it pinned. Hold on. I can look this up. It's right. Oh, yes. 2.3 million views, 871.7K likes. And I'm talking about how I would answer if I was asked about adult scenes in a movie and how my parents found out. That's my most viral video.
Wow. So do you think in the future you could be watching back this interview having done something like that?
Yeah, working actress. I want to try to do as many forms of indie content I can, and I think that's where it would happen. So
amazing.
I can see myself doing that.
So in the future, if you were watching this back, having done that kind of work, what do you want to say to yourself?
It was not as easy as you thought. It was not just talking about it in an interview. You actually had to sit and do it with cameras around you and lights and how many ever people on set. Like I don't think you prepared yourself enough for that form of acting.
Amazing. I just saw that video, so that's crazy that it's grown as fast. Did you expect that?
No, because I had come back from Los Angeles and I didn't come back as hopeful as I always am when I come back from there. I do visit pretty frequently. And I think this time, just me knowing that I'm going to be moving away from home and living there, I felt very like, oh my God, like, I don't know if this is right for me. And I came back home and I just felt like my content wasn't what I wanted to be. And I had actually a tarot reading the night before I posted that. And my friend Sakina, she did it for me, amazing at it. And she told me it's slow and steady. It's not going to grow for you, but the more consistent you are about it. And she gave me a really great piece of advice, and something that the universe is telling me is to always remember how much you wanted it. Like the inner child in you, how much she wanted it and how passionate she was about it, to never forget about that, to never let that go, to always try to keep that inside. So as soon as I heard that, I remember I was like, you know what? I'm tired of feeling like this. Like, I want to post something that I really believe in. And I got that idea randomly. I was watching one of Carson TBH's interviews that he does as well. And he did something like this and I tagged him and credited him. And I was like, you know what? I want to try to answer a question like that. And I did it. It was one take and it was my best video yet, I guess.
Wow. Talk about the universe really communicating with you.
Yeah.
Right?
It's very interesting to think about, because the night before I literally had a reading, and after that reading I felt so great and so hopeful, and I just had this peace of mind, like something was lifted off my shoulders. And I feel like the universe was just trying to tell me, like, it'll be okay. Like, not everything is going to be big. You have to just remember, the more you do it, the more people will want to see it, and it's consistent. And that pushed me to do that video, and look at us now.
What content are you the proudest of?
My interview content. I wanted to test the waters one day, and I filmed my very first one at work. I was at my job, at my retail job, and I was on my lunch, and I had seen one of George Louise's videos, and I was like, you know what? I can do this. I can do this. And I posted a 15-second one, and it got such a great response, and I felt so good about it. And then I went home and did another one and kept going. And that's how I've been able to grow away from the fandom side of TikTok, because obviously I'm still in the Marvel fandom and I love to talk about it. But I think leaving the music side of fandoms has been great, and it's allowed me to feel very free. I feel like I can post whatever I want now. Like I'm not restricted by something. Like I'm not restricted by thinking, oh my God, what's Twitter going to think of this? Or what are people going to say about this? I think just posting these types of videos makes me feel proud of myself and makes me feel like I'm working towards a goal. And while I'm doing stuff behind the scenes, now I can say I'm trying to put effort towards the content that I'm making.
What content do you think you're going to be the proudest of in the future?
If I ever get to work with Florence Pugh or Robert Downey Jr. or any of these people that I think so highly of, I think that's what I'll be the proudest of. Besides being proud of just any role that I take, I really hope that when I work with my heroes per se, I feel good about it, that it's a good experience.
I love that.
Thank you.
What are you working on right now?
Oh God, that's a hard one to answer because to be honest, I feel like I'm not working towards much right now. I feel like it's a lot of just researching and looking for any roles that are available or any casting calls that are open. So what I'm working on right now is just growing my networking ability and being able to speak to as many people as I can and, leave a good impression because people remember you. Every time you talk to someone, it can stay with them for whoever knows how long, and it's so great to see that. And I think I got this advice from a fellow actress on TikTok who just booked a Netflix show. When she booked the show, she had no agent, she had no team, she had to leave her team in order to feel like she could continue to keep going. And she said in a video, I feel like the reason I got the role, and one of the major ones, is every time you talk to someone who is higher up than you, they will remember that and they can recommend you for other things. So always being kind to people because you never know who somebody is. It's always a game. It's always a game and you have to know how to play it. So just remembering that I have to make and leave good impressions on people. That's what I'm trying to work on.
That's hard work. And that is notable work. That's like skill development that's going to carry you through longevity of this career, right?
Mm-hmm.
So even if, like at the beginning you said I'm not working on much, and then you named like a bunch of very tangible things that you are working very hard on right now. Do you give yourself credit for just how hard you work on what you want?
No, I feel like I don't. I genuinely try not to think about it too much to where I feel like, oh, I have a very hard time accepting and validating myself in what I do because I feel as though I'll always think of myself as like a very small person and I like the parts of my life that I feel are normal. But when I think of online creation, I genuinely don't ever validate myself. It comes from a place of me as a child feeling like I was praised and then not getting much praise at all later on in my life and feeling like you have to just work 10 times harder in order to feel validated. And there's power and there's also negativity in that because sometimes I feel so down about what I do because I feel like I'm not rewarding myself, but then I see the community that I've had built validating it and saying, oh, this is great. And it reminds me like, you just have to keep working. You have to keep working very, very hard. There's another quote that I have heard recently, and it's from Earl Sweatshirt. He's a rapper. He was on Odd Future. He works with Tyler, the Creator, and he was talking to a fellow artist about what music should be. And obviously, I'm not in music, but I think this also relates to a lot of actors and actresses. He said music should be an update on points of your life, and I feel like a lot of actors' performances are updates on points in their life where they are. I feel like seeing Florence Pugh branch out and be huge these past 2 years has been a very poignant point of her life, and now we can only see what she's going to do next. So I always want my performances and my work to be updates on where I am.
Who's a person that's commented or reached out to you that surprised you?
Oh my goodness. I feel like I reach out to more people than they reach out to me. Like as soon as I see someone who I've loved on TikTok follow me back, I'm always like, oh my God, like that's crazy. Like there's no way that life is working this way. And even if we don't talk, it's so nice to be mutuals and know that also comment on other people's or interact with other people's posts. I wouldn't say they've reached out to me, but I've reached out to them. But again, George Louise, I love her content. I think she's so talented. I genuinely think she's so above everyone's league. I can see her doing so much in the future, and every time I reach out to her, I just let her know, like, I'm so proud of you. Like you keep growing and growing, and like it's only going to get better from here. again, no one is competition to you. You are the only thing in your way. And once you start considering actors and actresses, anyone in your field competition, I think that just sends you on a downward path that isn't positive. And I would much rather be there cheering someone on than think of them as like, oh, I can't believe they got to do that, but I didn't get to do that. The universe is listening to you, and all it's hearing you do is put other people down to try to bring yourself up. And I don't think it's going to reward you that way.
A creator, or I say creator in the broadest sense,
Yes.
that inspires you?
Oh, obviously, I've talked about her a million times. George Louise, I love Carson. I respect a lot of creators who put their life out in a very specific way. I really love creators who just film themselves doing random things. I think there's something so nice in that because it makes you feel not alone. Actors that inspire me, Florence Pugh, Robert Downey Jr. I think of them so highly, and I think the path that they've been on. I definitely also consider actresses like Meryl Streep, Viola Davis. The way that they've grown their careers is just something to really think about. And they've obviously faced so many hardships, not only as women, but obviously Viola, a Black woman in Hollywood, trying to navigate through roles and take roles that are great for her. And I love Octavia Spencer, for example, trying to find roles that not only are for you, but roles that are outside of what you would normally do. It's so important to continue to grow and as an actor. So I respect a lot of the actors that take things that are outside the box or take things that are, something that they normally do, but they add new nuances to it. There's so much beauty in that. I want to do as many things as possible. I want my acting career to have not only blockbuster roles, I want to have kooky roles. I want to have roles that, no one would expect from me, performances that leave people thinking. There's so much beauty in that. And when actors can portray so many different roles, a la Johnny Depp, I think he can do anything. Through all of his problems that have been going on in the media recently, there's no taking away from his talent, and every performance he's done has been different from the last. And I would love to do that as well. There's so many cases of actors who have, they don't come from a very big acting background, and then seeing their transition into that world, I wonder what it's like for them. And I really hope that that's able to happen to me, because I still want to work and prove myself in different forms of media. But when actors come from these normal jobs, or they just come from, there's so many actors who were scouted at supermarkets, like just known like that.
Yep, totally. So, I mean, this is a testament to always look good going to the supermarket, because you never know. You never know who's going to be in the cereal aisle with you.
Oh, absolutely.
Cereal's something that you've rediscovered recently.
I love cereal.
Is there something that you're like really hooked on right now?
Captain Crunch. That cereal, I go through phases, and I try not to drink dairy because I don't enjoy it, but there's cereal doesn't hit the same with almond milk or oat milk. Like, there's something lacking. Like, the cow milk just tastes so good with it. So now if I really want cereal, like, I'll eat one bowl, and if I want another one, then I'll drink it with like an alternative milk, because I can't do that much dairy.
That's fair. That's completely fair. And I think to have like such strong values around like the impact you have in the world, from like the type of milk you choose to like how you create a community and like support them, all of these choices are things that are going to inform the type of role you want to play in the world, like as you evolve in your career. Are there values that you have now that you hope you never waver on?
Think before I speak. Always think before I speak. I used to have such a hard time with this, and I think being online and being on the internet has really helped me grow with that, because there's times where my fuse is so short, and I feel like I just jump at the fact to say something when I really want to when I really should just be quiet. Like, there's no reason for me to put that negativity out. Like, just shut up, Emily. So I've definitely learned to think before I speak. And also be consciously and socially aware of all issues going on. I always want to be educated. I always want to make sure that I take notice of things going on in the world, even if they don't affect me. They're affecting people that I care about. They're affecting groups of people. I think it's very telling of when a celebrity or an influencer is aware and they're not. And if they're just giving excuses as to why not, yes, I understand the internet is a harmful place sometimes, but just watch the news, being consciously aware. You have to remember that there's people who kind of depend on you to use your platform. So just being aware of everything going on is very, very something that I hope I never lose. And I don't think I ever will. I don't think my parents will ever let me lose that. I think they'll always remind me of what's going on.
What made you laugh today?
Okay, I love cats. I will say that I don't have one, but I really want one. It's just that my parents don't let me have one because we live in an apartment where we have to pay extra for it. So I'm just gonna wait till I'm alone and I can have my own little pet. But I don't know if you've ever heard of this. There's a version of Rain on Me on YouTube, and I will send you the link after this of cats meowing it. Like there's no singing; it's just meowing it. And
Oh my God.
I was on Apple Music and I looked up the word meow, and there's a song, like a song about meowing, and it's so good. It's actually really good, and it's
I love it. That's
no,
so good.
and the song is like meow your sorrows away, meow if you're having a gray day. Like it's a kid's song, but it's so I think of it and I'm like, you know what? I will meow my sorrows away. Like let me just calm down for a second.
The last song you danced to?
Save Your Tears remix by The Weeknd and Ariana Grande. That has been stuck in my head. I didn't really and I love the song before, but I wouldn't say I enjoy it as much as I do now with Ariana added in. Also, Don't Start Now by Dua Lipa. I listen to that every morning.
That's my song.
That's a song in the playlist of my life right now.
If you watch this back in the future and you have managed it, the goal, like the ultimate dream of working with Dua Lipa, what do you think that version of yourself is going to feel like?
Oh my god, she'd probably think she's really cool for like a couple days and be like, yeah, I'm working with Dua Lipa, no big deal. Like that's fine, like that's cool. And then later on it would hit her. And what I would tell her is just make sure that you have good interactions with her. She seems like such a nice person with the best intentions at all times. And while she has her obviously problematic things that she said, I think it's just important to remember on lighter notes, just do the work with her and go home. It's okay. We don't need to badger her. But yeah, I would probably just tell myself, like, calm down. It'll happen, but when you're there, calm down. It's okay.
Yeah, she's a person too, just like the rest of us. But it is exciting when you meet and can work with the people that you've looked up to and that you like. Everyone has people that they've looked up to in life. And I think that when you get those moments of the dream and the reality coming together, it leads to some interesting impressions and moments. Have you had that moment?
Oh my, no, I haven't gotten to speak to many other mutuals or speak to many other people who are higher up. I definitely have had my moments of just feeling like very appreciated by the artists and the people that I love. And even if they're simply just thanking us or saying something very kind about their fans, it's very nice to hear. It makes you feel very welcome into their space, into the space that they choose to put you in, because we don't know them personally, obviously. So those moments are great.
Okay. How would you describe this era of your life? Meaning the Emily_Uribe with 2 E's era.
This era is to work. I really hope to be hard at work. I want to be doing as many things as I can at once and actually having the platform to do them. I think growing my platform is something that I'm really trying to work hard on. I always want to make sure that it continuously grows while still maintaining a good attitude about it and just doing this for fun. Right now, TikTok is incredibly fun for me and I never want it to feel like a job. I never want it to feel like just a hobby that I do. I want this to be the stepping stone to the next level, which would be acting work and working behind the scenes. So I would describe this era as probably my Don't Start Now era. And I say this because to the people who haven't been in my life, who haven't seen me go through my own personal struggles, I don't want those people in my life. I want the people that have been close and that have shown me that they really do care about me, and I want to reciprocate that back.
So how would your friends describe you?
My friends would describe me very, very nice. A lot of them tell me, and I'm not saying this to toot my own horn, they love to tell me I'm very funny. So they would describe me as
I think you're really funny. I would agree with that.
Thank you. It's weird to think about like how someone would describe me. And then also I hyper focus on a lot of things. So very all over the place. I'm always doing one thing. I'm always focusing on one thing and then trying to do another. That's one of the things I'm trying to work on is stop doing too many things at one time without actually figuring out how to do one thing at least in one time. So they would probably describe me as all over the place for sure.
The honesty, I think, is another piece of you that's very prevalent. Like that must translate to who you are when you're with the people that are closest to you.
Oh yeah, and I think there's definitely some moments where I've gotten asked like, "Are you always like that?" And I'm always like what? Like me? Like I'm exactly who I come across as. I don't front for the camera. I don't ever act too much out for the camera. Like however I'm feeling that day is exactly who I am, and I'm never one to turn it on or turn it off.
What do you want to remember about the moment you're in now?
Everything will happen for me in due time, and the universe is working extremely hard for me. And while I may complain that it's not happening fast enough, it will happen. I want to remember that I need to be present, that I am present, and that I am working towards my goals.
What does happiness feel like?
A nice summer day, a nice day where I don't think about the internet or think about what's going on in my life. I think happiness is a very what happiness feels like is a very interesting question, because to some people happiness might be like just being able to go to the grocery store by themselves, to be able to do things by themselves. And I think happiness for me is just getting to sit down and not think about anything going on the internet, leaving the internet alone for the day and thinking for myself.
What are you scared of?
Oh, heights, rejection. I think my biggest fear is failure. And I feel like that's a lot of other people's fear. I think you and I both know we're both trying to work incredibly hard and make something of ourselves and make something with the platforms that we're now getting.
Yeah.
I think there's so much fear of, well, if it doesn't work out, what am I going to do? Where do I go from here? And, success is a different storyline for everybody. It's such a different feeling and it's such a different expression for some people. And I think just getting things off the ground, there's so much success in that because you at least are able to start from something. And when you're able to do that, then later on, that fear will slowly go away because, I've done it before. Why can't I do it again? You're the only thing in your way. And if all you're thinking of is that fear, you're never going to get out of your own way.
What do you want to be remembered for?
That's a hard one. Oh, wow. That's like thinking like 50 years later, like what are people going to remember me for? In 2080 something, what am I going to be remembered for? I would love to be remembered for a positive impact on the acting community and on several different markets that I go into. I think when, for example, Audrey Hepburn, she did so much humanitarian work and she went into so many different fields and she wanted to be known around the world in such a positive way. I would love to do the same thing. And I also would just want to be remembered for always sharing what I know with the world. I want to help whoever I can out. I would love to help younger actors. I would love to help actors who are struggling. I think there's so much work in Hollywood and so many things that are gatekept, and it's such an issue, and that's why so many people get so discouraged from it because they don't think they know the ins and outs. I would love to share what I know and to make sure that everyone is welcome in that space.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. And the fact that you know that that's what you want to work towards now just sets you up so well to like adapt that and grow into it and push it into existence over time. Like the fact you know so much about like not only who you are now but the person that you want to become. It's like startling. Right? There's so many young actors, and again I mean young in terms of like in career, that like only see themselves within like certain lanes of what their potential is, and you are so multifaceted in how you consider the impact that you can have. Do you even recognize that in yourself, like how thoughtful you are in that approach?
No, I don't. I feel like this is making me have conversations with myself right now to be like, okay, what do you really think of yourself? I think it's really interesting to hear praise from the internet because you never know what certain things about you could touch someone. And I think when people say, like your spirit, your vibe, I feel like I really connect with you. I love who you are as a person. You've inspired me to start developing my own acting journey. It's really interesting. And I never want to think of myself as someone who, does so much, because I always want to make sure that I'm grounded and that I want to like me. If I don't like me at one point in my life, which I didn't with Miss Ticketmaster, I don't want to deal with that. When you don't like yourself and other people don't like you, it makes you feel really bad and it puts such negative thoughts in your head. I always want to like who I am, and I love who I am right now. I think.
Okay, so on that note, the last question I have is the Harry Styles question. Do you know who you are? And it sounds like you love this version of yourself. So do you know who you are?
I think at this stage in my life, I'm only 21. I think I love who I am and I love who I'm growing up to be. And I love that I'm starting to just push negative people away from me and push, I feel like for a period of time, I was really unhappy with who I was, especially because of all the internet situations that I've gone through. And it really makes you think, like, damn, if I'm that bad of a person, I must be awful. Like, I must be horrible. And once I stopped caring about that and grew into my own person and let go of that negativity, obviously through therapy and through being able to speak of it now so confidently, I think, yeah, I know who I am right now, and I know that I'm a kind person, and that I put myself exactly out there into the world as someone that I am every day, and I like who I am right now. And obviously there will be periods in my life where I might not like myself because of roles or introspective thinking, but right now I know that I'm an actress. I know that I'm going to be a working actress, and I know that continuing later on in life, I'm going to have a positive impact on the world.
Emily Uribe, that was your Vanity Fair interview.
Thank you.
Got it. That was so much fun. You are so introspective, and it's so cool to hear how much consideration you have for who you want to be in this community and who you're going to continue to grow into. And I'm just like so excited to see what you do next and who you become. So thank you for bringing your honesty and bringing your tiny microphone and bringing all of who you are to the table, because I think it's going to mean a lot to people to see someone who does have the influence that you have be so honest about where they are and where they want to go. The last question I ask everyone who comes on the show, because this is Stark Radio, what song would you like to request for the next episode?
Don't start now. Please.
Yeah.
Please. I will. Oh my God. Tony, I know you're listening. You would love Dua Lipa. She would perform at a party for you.
That will be the episode. Tony Stark Party, Dua Lipa performing Don't Start Now. Live on Stark Radio.